Fala pessoal, tudo bem com vocês? Sejam bem-vindos a mais uma live aqui do canal. E hoje uma live extremamente especial. Eu sei que todas são especiais, eu sempre começo com essa frase, mas hoje é muito bacana mesmo. A gente está recebendo novamente o Dian do time do RavenDB e a gente vai bater um papo hoje, muito live coding. A gente vai codar muita coisa aqui com .NET, C Sharp, obviamente, e RavenDB. Então, se vocês estão tendo o primeiro contato com Raven, né, estão chegando agora no mundo do NoSQL, entendendo um pouco mais, essa é uma ótima oportunidade, tá, para vocês ficarem por dentro aí disso, de como ele funciona, tá? Que é um ótimo banco de dados também, e a gente contou bastante da história dele numa live passada, que eu vou deixar o link aqui depois, tá bom? Primeiro, eu só gostaria de falar sobre as nossas carreiras, então, balto.eu/carreiras. Dei uma olhada lá, tem lançamento de curso novo de acesso a dados com .NET, previsto para o dia 2, tá? Então, vale muito a pena. A nossa agenda tá toda em balto.eu/agenda, então se vocês quiserem olhar lá e ficar por dentro, né, de todos os eventos que acontecem, estão todos lá, tá? E se você não tá recebendo o link das transmissões aqui do YouTube, né, se o YouTube não tá te notificando, acessa go.balta.eu/lives, que a gente vai mandar os links para vocês toda live, você fica por dentro de todos os eventos nossos, tá? E se você quer seguir a gente nas redes sociais, não esqueça, balta.eu/social, tá? E também join us no Discord lá, né? Faz parte do nosso Discord lá, que inclusive o Diana tá por lá, e vocês podem bater um papo com ele sobre Raven, tá? Então, bem legal, tá bom? E agora, a live da confusão essa, porque eu tenho que trocar inglês e português, tá? Então, vou começar agora em inglês com o Diana, e aí a gente vai, eu vou pegando suas perguntas de vocês aqui, tá? Vocês podem me mandar perguntas, eu vou colocando para ele aqui, a gente vai fazendo um português para inglês aqui, para ver o que a gente consegue atender vocês, ok? Tá bom? So, hi Dian, how you doing?
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back again.
Yeah, we had such a great session, our last session. We talked about RavenDB, about the story, the license, and any other stuff. And I invited you to this another session to code something, to put some coding practice, to code with C# and .NET, connect to RavenDB. And I think our mission, our goal here is to create a CRUD, a very basic CRUD, create, read, update, and delete methods with RavenDB, so we can show how easy is to use RavenDB. So many people getting are used to get started with relational database, all that common stuff, and NoSQL is very good and very awesome too. So please introduce yourself to us first, and then we can start some topics here. Okay?
Okay. Thank you for having me one more time. So my name is Dayan. I'm a developer for some 20 plus years, and I mainly do C#. Recently, I started with Hibernating Rhinos as a developer advocate. So this is part of my job to showcase RavenDB to other developers and to introduce them to something that may be new technology for them. Also, relational databases are mainstream. NoSQL databases are gaining popularity lately. So it will be interesting to see today how easy or how hard it is to bring something from scratch to a piece of working code.
Yeah. Great. So we can we share your screen?
Yes,
can start
please.
sharing our screen. Okay, I will put here. Let me just make some question in Portuguese. Just a second. Pessoal, se tiver algum problema com vocês em visualizarem a tela, qualquer coisa do tipo, vocês me avisam no chat, tá bom? Então podem me marcar aqui, podem mandar perguntas também, tá bom? I will just advising guys regarding your screen resolution, if is everything okay, right? I think everything is right. We tested it before, so it's up to you. We can start some coding.
Okay, let me start from the very beginning. So today I'm going to build very small application from scratch. Nothing is prepared, so I will do everything from the very beginning in live session. So let's see how live coding works for me today.
Okay.
So what I plan to build today is a very small e-commerce application. Or in other words, I would like to build shop. So this shop will be rather simple. And not to complicate things, I'm going to have products, which is mandatory for every e-commerce website. Product will have its name, and product will have price. And then I will enable people to go and do some shopping. So I will introduce shopping cart. And this shopping cart will belong to a customer, of course. So you're a customer, you want to put things into shopping cart. And then you will have in this shopping cart, you will have a list of products that you bought. So these will be order lines. And in every order line, there will be product, and there will be quantity you put there. Sorry, quantity. And you will also have, as a part of an order line, you will have price.
All right.
So rather simple domain with two main entities, products, and products can be added to the cart.
Great.
So let's start from the very beginning. I need two things. I need my Visual Studio, which is here. So I'm using 2019. And I need a Raven database. As you can see, Raven is pretty straightforward. So you have download button, and you can download the latest stable version 5.2, which was released on Monday. But I want to skip that. I don't want to bring new things to my machine, install, uninstall, take some space, etc. So I'm going to use something even simpler today, and this will be Docker. So I will use Docker to bring Raven to my machine, and then I will start my database from Docker and work from there. Okay, so I'm now in the command prompt, and simplest command, you can imagine Docker run RavenDB/RavenDB. So what this will do, this will download image. If you don't already have image on your machine, it will download it like this. So you will have a RavenDB image, and then container will be started based on that image. As you can see at the moment, I don't have any containers running.
Great. So you're telling that to install RavenDB is just a line. With just a line, I can download the image and put the image to run on my Docker.
Exactly. And after you're complete, you can shut it down, delete it. There are no traces.
Right.
So
Great.
if you just want to play with RavenDB, you don't have to install it, and it won't take space on your hard drive. You can just give it a test ride and see how it plays.
Okay. As we showed in our last session, right? We showed a little bit about line. Great.
And I just need a few more parameters. One of them is -d, which will bring me back to the command prompt after container is started. And I need to expose some ports, because when you have something running in Docker container, if you don't expose ports of the application running in Docker container, you cannot access it. So I would like to access my Raven container, and I will do it like this. Raven is running on port 8080. I'm going to expose with this. I'm going to expose port 8080. And then to make things even simpler, I will supply Raven with some parameters, and I will later on provide you with this line, so you can just copy and paste.
Right.
So I will do two things. I will say I would like to run right away. So setup dot mode equals none. So I don't want to set up. I want to get it running immediately.
Okay.
And I don't want to accept any license agreement. So license dot end user license agreement dot accepted equals true. So with these two parameters, I will skip whole setup mode.
Wow.
And I will sign agreement right away, and that's it. So now when I press enter, I just got a container started, as you can see in the background, and RavenDB is running on my machine, and I can go to this address and access it right away.
Great.
So
It's
you
amazing.
see how long it took me in order to download and install and get Raven running.
Great.
It's just that simple. So
Yeah.
you can say when you have it here, you just recall the last line and you have it running immediately.
Can you share this line? I will put on the chat here.
Yes, I will share it. Okay.
I'll pass here chat. We have a private chat here on our side.
Okay. So this is the line to get RavenDB running on your machine right away. Okay, so now I have my database running, as you can see. This is RavenDB Studio. Nice thing is that this is a web application, so you don't need to install anything. So that was all when it comes to installing Raven. And now it's time to do some coding. So here is my Raven Studio. Sorry, here's my Visual Studio. I will create new project. So as you can see, I'm running from the very beginning. And what I will pick up is console application, and I'm going to use C#.NET Core 5 for this.
All right.
Name of the application is shop, and I will put it in Andres folder. Okay. And I'm using 5.0. And it is now being created. Okay, at this moment, I'm ready to start coding. Okay. I need to do a couple of things before I can start actually accessing RavenDB. First thing would be to create new empty database. So I will go to the databases and create new database that's called shop. So now I have my shop database, and you see it's completely empty. This is first step. Next step would be to install NuGet package, which is a RavenDB client.
Oh.
So I will install RavenDB.client. Here it is. As you can see, I'm not using command line like all the real developers.
Okay, it's fine too. In case you guys want to add this through command line, is this .NET add package. Exactly. RavenDB. I will put here on .client. All right, it will install the latest version.
Yes.
And then add the package.
And now I have NuGet package, which will enable me to access a RavenDB server to send requests to it, etc. So now we can start actually writing some code. And in order to be organized, I'm going to create one folder for everything that is relating to Raven. Raven folder. And first thing I need to do, I need to create one class that will hold something that's called document store. So it will be called document store holder. Idea behind document store holder is to have document store, which is RavenDB abstraction of this server. So as you can see, what I have here is the server running database. So document store is the concept of RavenDB represented through C# class.
Can we tell that this is basically what we have on Entity Framework DB context? Is it similar?
Yes, it is exact. It is the exact concept class that represents database itself.
Okay, that's nice.
What is recommended practice is to make this document store singleton.
Okay.
So I will declare document store here. And now I need to initialize it. And what you need to do, you must make sure that this is singleton. If you're
Okay.
using dependency injection, you can use life cycle of singleton object. I'm not going to use that today. I'm going to showcase to you how to simulate singleton pattern in a thread-safe manner.
Okay.
So what I'm going to use is a concept that's called lazy. So let me do it this way. Lazy ensures that if two threads try to access this class at the same moment, only one of them will be able to instantiate document store. So this is essentially, I'm safeguarding from the two threads that would like to create at the same time two instances of document store.
Okay.
So lazy store, new. This is pretty much standard pattern in .NET. Okay, so this will be store, and I have here method now that will create new store. So document store. So this is pretty much standard instantiation of the object. And as you can see, when I'm defining my store, I have several parameters here. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to tell RavenDB at which URLs my server is. You can see this is array. This is because if you're using cluster, you can enlist several URLs here as an array.
Nice.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and copy URL from the browser. So this will be URL of my server. That's it. And the second thing I need to do, I need to declare what my database name is. So let me see. What I'm using here is the shop. This is the name of the database. So this way I declared my my database, just to see why I have it.
Is it an equal sign? I can't tell because the screen is a little bit smaller for me here.
This should be like this. Okay, let me see. Oh, I need return statement.
Yeah.
That's something that's expected.
Return store.
So I declared document store. I need to initialize it. So store.initialize. Initialize, and I will return it.
Okay.
That's it. So now I just need to say, okay, when someone accesses this public static, it will return lazy store but value. That's it. Okay. This is probably the most complicated part with lots of typing. Now I declared my document store. Okay, and now let me implement some of the concepts that you can see here. So let me go with products. I will create a folder for products. For models, I apologize.
Okay.
So let me declare product class. Product will be really simple. Product will have name and the price. So I will declare name, and I will declare double price because we want to have decimals.
Okay.
And this class will be something that I'm going to use in my C# code. And this same class is going to be something that I will be able to save right away into the database. So this is main difference compared to Entity Framework. I don't need another set of classes for persisting this. I can put this right away in my database. The only thing that I need to do, I need to declare ID.
Okay.
I mean, you usually want to do it because if you have some entity, you want to have something that you can refer this entity by.
Okay, and the identity, the ID can be any type you want, string, integer.
ID is
GUID.
string. ID is a string, but this string can hold anything.
Okay.
This string can hold anything.
You can pass a GUID.
You can pass GUID. You can say something like this. This will be, for example, Apple. Or as you will see, you can let RavenDB assign values to this ID automatically.
Okay, nice.
And now let's create some products in our database so that we can sell something. I'm going to use simple methods and simple console output so that we can see actually what's going on without concentrating on the controllers. So I will write simple static method to create a product in a database. Create product. This will accept name, and this will accept price, as you remembered. Okay. And product key new product key dot name key dot price assigning price. So at this point, my method accepted two parameters, created new product. So I have product here. And now to save it into the database. And what I'm going to type now is something that's very similar to Entity Framework. I will open session. So document store dot holder dot store dot open session.
It's a good time to remember that RavenDB is a NoSQL database, but it is transactional also, right?
Exactly. All transactions are ACID transactions, so you have all these good properties. Usually you don't think about ACID and transactions until you have some problems. In other words, if database has transactions and if these transactions are ACID, database is behaving the way you expect it. So in other words, you give something to database stores it, and it's there safely stored.
Great.
And the pattern is very similar again to Entity Framework. So you go session.store my product, and then I go session.save changes.
Very
and
nice.
This is it. If I did not make any mistakes, this piece of the code should create some products in the database. So let me check that right away. So create a product, and I will go with apples. And let's go with 9.10. Of course, I'm simplifying here. I omitted currency, etc., but the goal here is to see simple code that is storing products.
Yeah, pretty expensive apples.
Yes.
Just kidding.
These are special ones. So
yeah.
now we'll start my project.
Okay.
And here it is. So it executed. And hopefully, if I did not make any mistakes, my database now contains products. So apparently, I executed this
Twice.
So let me delete one. Let's pretend this executed just once.
Okay.
So as you can see, I accepted parameters, I created new products, initialize these two properties, open session.store new product, and save changes. And save changes is what will make call to the database. So if I omit this line, nothing will get saved into the database.
Right. Can I let me ask you a question? Something that we need to concern when we are writing SQL is regarding SQL injection. So basically here, we don't need to concern about that, right? That's because
Exactly.
we have the pure objects that we will be translated to RavenDB by the RavenDB SDK, right?
Exactly. So let me just show you what happened here. I created product with name apples and the price. And when this line executed, product was serialized into the JSON form. As you can see, JSON here. And these two properties were stored into my database. And what you can see here is something called metadata. So here, RavenDB keeps based on my name. So I have class name product here. RavenDB created this into collection of plural, so products, product S. And RavenDB also stored this information. This is used to deserialize this JSON into strongly typed class product. So when I'm loading objects, as you will see in a few moments, I have ability to load it in a strongly typed manner.
Right. So I can imagine that you probably keep this information also for versioning the object. For example, if you serialize the name and price for this object, and then you change your model, for example, removing the price, how the Raven CLR will handle that?
It will handle that gracefully. So I can remove price property from the C# class. If I load this, change it, and save it again, price will not be deleted.
Great, nice, very nice.
So RavenDB takes care of that. Okay. So when we are here, let me add some more products. So just that we have something to work with. So let's go with P. So something like this maybe. And let's go with a banana, for example. So we could use some coffee as well. So you see I'm building some kind of shop, which is a food shop, so grocery shopping.
Yeah, great.
And maybe carrot. Something like this. So after I execute now this, we should see 4 more products in my database. Okay, executing this now. Completed. And if I go into products, you see all of my products which I created here are already in the database. So you see how easy it was for me to put new things into the database. I created my product. I added ID, but I did not have to populate it. RavenDB is doing that itself. I just created a new product, and with these 2 lines, I stored it into the database. And now I have 5 products in my database. Okay, so these products are now in the database. Let me show you. Or maybe are there any questions regarding this?
Not yet, but it's funny how the ID was generated. 65-A products.
Yes. So ID is something I left. I could also do this. So for example, I could say ID is my apple, or ID is GUID. So I could also use GUID here, or whatever I want. If you leave this ID unpopulated, so if ID is null, RavenDB will create ID that consists of collection name slash some integer, and dash node. This is current node I'm working on. So you see node A here.
All right, got it.
Because a RavenDB is intended to work in a cluster. So this way, a RavenDB tries to create IDs which are unique on the cluster level. Okay, let me now load some products so we can show them on a web page. So I will create new method, which will be called getProduct. And this method will accept this ID. and let's output it on the screen. So why not use, every good developer is a bit lazy, so let's
All right.
copy the code. I'm again opening the session. This enables me to start working with my database. And this is how easy you can load product from the database. I will use product, and I need to supply ID here. It will be ID. So this way, I loaded product with this ID from the database, and I got strongly typed object.
Great.
Let's write it on a screen. So to verify, since we don't have any kind of tests, we need to do verification like this. So let me go with product, P dot, and as you can see, I can access properties here. So ID, name, and price. Let's go with name, and let's go with some tabs, and price is p.price. So one line to pull out something from the database, and then I'm going to output it.
Okay, there's a question regarding the session, which some. Okay, this session is like a connection, or is like a transaction. We explained this before just a little bit, but it's like a database representation, right?
A session is actually a unit of work pattern.
Okay,
so
great.
This means
that's a great.
You open session, and at this point, no connection is made to the database. Session is object that is serving you, serving your needs when it comes to the database. So when I want to bring something from the database, I say session.load. If I want to save something into the database, I say, okay, session, here is the object. And session will accept this object, but will not contact the database. It's only when I do session.save changes, then the call to the database will be made.
Great. And another question was regarding is this the newest version of RavenDB? I think yes. We got a release. Yeah, 5.2.
So you can see it here, 5.2.
Great. Thank you, Joe. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, please do. So now I have a method for loading product. So let me now load and output product on a screen. So let me go with the product. I will pick apples. So here is ID of the apple, and by clicking here, I can copy. So this method now should access my database. It will accept ID of the apple. It will open session. This line will make connection to the database and fetch a product with this ID. And it will deserialize this JSON. So this JSON will be deserialized into this class and assigned here. And then I will output a result of that. Now when I start it, what you can see here is the console product name, apples, price 9.1.
Great.
So this was a reading. So we had CRUD. So this was C. This was R. So we demonstrated how you see both methods are fitting on my screen.
Yeah, they're pretty small. Just few lines of code.
Yeah, so RavenDB was able to easily enable you with low ceremony. So in 30 minutes, I managed to create new project in Visual Studio, start RavenDB, create empty database, create model for product, populate products in the database, and now fetch products. So I'm almost ready to do some selling. So let me now display all products that we have in our database. So let me say get all products. Products, no ID needed anymore. So what I'm going to do, I will say session query. This is a way to query your database. Okay, this will fetch all the products in the database, and I will use toList, and this will be the list of products. I have ReSharper, so it's importing namespaces automatically.
Yeah, there was a question regarding the names appearing on the screen. So
yes, I have a ReSharper, which is a great helper, but then you forget how to do some things.
Yeah. And just one more question regarding the async and await.
Yes.
Do you need
RavenDB supports async.
Okay.
Under the hood, all these operations will actually be translated to async pattern. It's only that I wanted to keep things simple, not to introduce that as well.
Point. Thank you.
So now that I have all of my products, I will display them on the screen. So again, one simple line which will fetch all the products from my database. And again, copy paste is your friend. So
all right.
this should list all the products, and I will correct the typo, from my database. So let's see how it works. Okay, here it is. Let's see if this works. So you can see I have 5 products in my database, and I managed to list all of them, to fetch all of them, and to display them. So just one line that is fetching all products to the database. And this is nice, but probably someone will ask, okay, you displayed all the products. What if you have 10,000 products?
Yeah.
So let me quickly show you again how to do some proper programming when you think about future and you prepare for the growth of your application, what will happen when your application grows. So let's implement paged fetching from the database. So what I will do, I will introduce 2 parameters. So this method, getProducts, will work like this. I intend to make a method that is accepting page and the page size. So since I have 5 products in my database, I will fetch first page, first 3 products, and show them. So this will be, first argument will be page number, and the other second argument will be size of the page. So this will be this will be page index, and this will be page size. Okay, again, I'm opening the session, and this way I'm not going to get all the products. I'm going to get 1 page of products. And now, interesting thing is RavenDB supports this nicely through link. So you have link providers. So I can simply go and say skip, and I can say take. And I will calculate here how many I need to skip and how many I need to take. So let's go with zeros to make this compiling. So skip, skip, and take, toList. And then instead of all, I will copy this and say I would like to display 1 page on the screen. So skip will be actually page number. And since we are human friendly, we are going to start with 1 for humans. But now I need to calculate this to be 0 page. So page size. OK, so this is how many I will skip. And then I will take page size. So if I pass 1 and 3, I will skip 0 because 1 minus 1 is 0, and then I will take next 3. Okay, and let's output this on a screen. I will say something like this, showing results, and I will show results I'm showing from skip +1 to. Now I need to calculate which is the last entry. So this will be skip plus page. Sorry, let me go like this. Page size. Okay, and I will show them here. So now when I run this, I should see first 3 of my products appearing on the screen. So you see showing results 1 to 3, first 3 products. Order is something that RavenDB decided, since I did not specify order, it decided to take from the oldest one. So you see apple, tea, and banana,
okay,
along with their prices. Okay, and now it would also be good to show to my visitors how many total products in my database there are. That's something usual that you want to show to your users. And now, in some other databases, this would mean that I would have to create one more call to the database. But RavenDB has this nice feature that it can supply you in just one round trip, both with results and with some statistics. So I have something that's called here query statistics. Better to call it stats. So this is inline declaration, and this statistics will populate the stats. So now I can go and display how many total results are there. Okay, so I will go off stats dot total results.
Wow, this is very nice.
Yes, RavenDB tries to be very friendly to developers. So this piece of the code should accept a page number and the size of the page. It will fetch just one page of the results, and I have access to stats, which not only contains total results, but it contains other interesting features like duration of the calls. So let's go like this. Console write line saying this was produced in stats.duration milliseconds. Okay, and now I run it. And what we can see is that I have 1 to 3 of 5 products in total, first 3 ones. And this is 0 milliseconds because RavenDB has lots of these optimization patterns and lots of internal caching and some advanced concepts we can cover some other time, but it's almost instantaneous. This is execution time on the server. This does not take into account time it took to transfer results.
By the way, there is a question regarding the automatic cache on RavenDB. So if you can explain a little bit more about
this caching?
Yeah.
Yes, I can go here. This is a bit smaller screen resolution. So let's do something like this. Let's double this code. So what I'm doing here, I'm repeating same call twice, you see? And let's see what will happen behind the scene with RavenDB. I open something that's called Traffic Watch, where I can observe all communication that is going to my server. Now, if I execute this piece of the code, it's executed, And what you can see here is something interesting. So this is internal call from the client to the server to fetch topology. But what I have here are my two calls. So first one and second. So you can see first time, and by the way, RavenDB is using HTTP as a communication protocol. So my query was sent first time, and this is Raven query language, which this link gets translated to. And you can see this is what arrived at RavenDB first time, 2 milliseconds. Now, when this second call occurred, what happened is that RavenDB recognized this is same query, and there were no new products in the meantime. So Raven server informed my C# API client, okay, 304 not modified. You can use results which are you already holding in your cache. So when this happened, session cached these results. And when I repeated same query again, session sent this query again to the server, along with information what version of results it holds. So Raven server replied 304, meaning not modified, and here results were returned, but here no content in this reply. Just 304 not modified, meaning you already have latest version of the products, go ahead and use it. I have nothing new for you.
It's very good. It's something that you have in the box, right? You don't need to configure anything to have this kind of cache, which is pretty good.
Yes, this is all happening behind the scene. Since we don't have too much time, just one more thing. Let me create that cart, I promise. So let me actually provide you with a way of buying things. Okay, so this is my cart class. What I will do, again, I will introduce ID because this is how I fetch things. And I need to have customer because this customer owns this shopping cart. And then I need some product. So I will do it like this. Let me create public class cart line. And I will declare this will be product name. I will duplicate it into product price. Okay. This will be double. And then I specify quantity. Okay, and then I will declare here a property that is essentially a list of cart lines. That's set, and I will initialize it right away because this is good practice not to receive any null exceptions. So let me now go and create my cart for this user. So, okay, let me take maybe, no, I will write it again. So it will be static create cart for specific customer. I will use email as identification for the customer. So new cart customer comes from parameter equals customer. And now I open session. We already saw that, so I can copy code. Okay, so session.store cart and session.save changes. This is something we already saw. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call this method to create my cart for my secret shopper. So it will be, I want to create a cart for john@doe.com. Okay, I executed this piece of code, hopefully. I did now. And inside my database, you can see traffic here. So you can see HTTP verbs here, so post and get. So RavenDB is using HTTP as a protocol. Here I have my cart. Okay, and this cart, as you can see, holds list. List is transformed to JSON array.
All right.
Yes. Okay, and finally, what we've been trying to do whole day is to put something in cart. Okay, so let me go with this. So this will be add product to cart. So this method will accept, let's go with customer. So customer wants to put product in a cart. And I will use product ID here, and I will use quantity. I think this is pretty much clear what I'm trying to do here. So I have my session open. And now what I need to do, I need to first locate cart that belongs to my customer. So I have customer John, and I mistyped, but never mind. So this method will be called like this. Add product cart. I will use email of my customer. I need to use ID of the product. So let's put some apples in the shopping cart of this John Doe. So I will put some apples, and I will put 5 apples. So going back to the implementation, I first need to find cart for my John Doe. So I'm going to query, but this time I'm going to use a link to find cart for my shopper. So let's say I will assume that every shopper is allowed to have just one cart. So I will say customer equals, it was supposed to be this one. As you can see, I'm using a link to locate shopping cart that belongs to my shopper. So this will be cart. And let's assume in this case that cart exists. Otherwise, I should put single or default here and check. But in this case, let's simplify things and assume. So I will simply put new things into the cart. So I need to fetch product before I can put it. So product p session.load product ID. So I have now my cart, and I won't need this. So cart, let's actually create this new order. So this will be new cart line here. And I will use this initializer. So I will use product name. I will use product price, p.price. And as you can see, everything is nicely typed. So I have IntelliSense at my disposal. So no row strings. This piece of code should locate the cart for the customer with this ID. So I'm using this condition to filter out single cart that contains this field, this value for field customer. So I will fetch cart from the database based on the customer. And I should have put it like here, this. I'm fetching product based on the product ID. And I'm adding to the cart lines collection. I'm adding new start line that contains a product name, product price, and the quantity. Now, when I mentioned that session is unit to work pattern, the thing is, the moment I use session to fetch cart, session starts observing any changes on this cart object. So when I perform this, session will detect that I changed object cart, and I only need to say session go and save changes. Session will track what was actually changed and only send those changes to the server. So this is unit to work pattern, where session is tracking objects that were fetched from the database.
Which is pretty nice. That's because we don't need to manage anything.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
I did not have to say save changes to the cart. No. I only say save changes, and the session was tracking all these. So session will recognize I did not change this product, and this will not be sent back to the server.
Wow, great.
So now, when I execute this, this should add 5 apples to my John Doe shopping cart. Let's see if my live coding skills are good enough for this.
Showtime.
Showtime. And let's check it. Okay, and RavenDB warns me there were some changes, refreshing, entering this cart. So we can see that this cart, which was empty, is now updated, and order lines collection contains this, and I can go and add some, let's add coffee. So let's go and add coffee here. And let's,
Oops.
I just need 1 coffee today.
I think you put the wrong ID on coffee.
Okay, yes, my bad. Okay, I didn't copy it. So now when I execute it, going back to the visuals, to Raven Studio, going back to the cart. Cart now contains both apple and coffee.
Wow. Let me play some magic sound here. It's like magic.
So in 50 minutes, I started from empty solution, no database installed. I installed database. I created 2 models for the product, for the cart and for the product. I properly managed this, and I implemented small set of CRUD procedures. Of course, delete is very simple session.delete.
Yeah.
So we have creation of the product, fetching of the product. We have paged fetching, as you can see here. We have paging, proper paging, and we have creation of the cart and adding things to the cart.
Wow. It's a lot of stuff for just 50 minutes of session, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm open for any questions that.
Yeah. Well, first, thank you for your time and code. That's because you did all it live, real live. I thought you were copying and pasting some code here, but yeah, congratulations. So we have a few questions here. First, there are some questions which in Portuguese. I will translate to English, right? So regarding the changing management, for example, when you change your model's structure and you need to reply it over the database, right? So I think the person is comparing this to entity framework migrations, for example. But here in this scenario, we don't need this kind of thing, right?
No, but this is something that also be handled in an elegant way. We can show it maybe next time.
Okay, great. There's a question of when applicable, the advantage of RavenDB compared to Mongo. Do you want to talk? We discussed this on our last session.
Yes, but maybe biggest advantage is a link provider is implemented, and when you look at the Raven query language, it's very natural to learn. So I can say from products and get my results here. So query language is very similar to SQL.
Great. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Raven is very friendly with C# and .NET, right?
Yes. Yes, there are also some other subtle differences. So when you have cluster of 3 nodes, for example, you can use any of the nodes to write things and read things. With Mongo cluster, you need to designate just one node that can accept writes. So the Raven cluster is much more resilient when it comes to that.
Yeah. By the way, if you're watching this and looking for more information regarding Raven cluster, we showed it on our last session, right? Uh, there's another question here. What is a good approach to use RavenDB instead of traditional database like SQL Server? I think it is basically what we showed today, right?
Yes, so you can build any type of business application or hobby application with RavenDB, and as you saw, I can create my objects and store them right away. So as you can see, I created product and stored it right away. So it is this simple. I did not have to create this whole ceremony of schema creation, table creation. So you just put it in RavenDB, RavenDB accepts it, and it's much faster, less code, and less chance to something to go wrong. You also see that statistics are supported out of the box, so total number of the issues, total number of the products is accessible to you right away.
Great. There's a question regarding map and reduce, but we covered. We don't intend to cover much of C# language here, right? You said that it supports link. So basically, what you can do in link, you can pass this to Raven, right?
Yes, and MapReduce is a powerful mechanism for indexing. So maybe we can show one in one of the next sessions that you can process millions of records very efficiently with MapReduce.
Great. I'm sorry, I translated it to map and reduce as we have on JavaScript. I'm sorry. That's it. There's a question here. Cluster without replication.
Yes, RavenDB treats even just one node as a cluster of one node. So if you take a look here, on my machine, I now have a cluster that consists of just one node. But as you can see, I can add new nodes to this cluster. So for example, this is now running on my machine, but Andre could create a RavenDB on his own machine, and we could join them into the cluster. It's only that I'm in Europe, so latency, ping time would be horrific, but a RavenDB always treats it as a cluster, even with just one node.
Yeah, that's great. Whoa, that's it. I will stop the questions for now. If you have any other question, you can join us on Discord. I will let the link here. Jan is on our Discord. We have a dedicated chat for RavenDB there, so you can join us there, right? Yeah, just a second. We will switch back to Portuguese, then I can back to you to or finish,
Okay.
right? Pessoal, falei aqui no final agora que a gente tô encerrando já, porque já são 2 horas. E a gente pode continuar esse papo no Discord, tá? Então tem um canal exclusivo para RavenDB lá, a hashtag RavenDB, tá? Então participem lá do Discord, é muito importante. Não esqueçam também das nossas carreiras lá, balta.carreiras. Quero muito trazer mais conteúdo de Raven para vocês, então não esqueçam de dar o joinha, participar lá, que eu vou vendo o interesse de vocês. Agenda, tá? Os próximos eventos, toda quinta, 1h a gente tem evento aqui, tá bom? As lives, se vocês quiserem receber informações sobre as nossas lives. E não deixe de seguir o Balta também na rede social, balta.io/social, right? Okay, so we ended up with this very, very great live with Julian again. I want to thank you again, and thank you and RavenDB team. You sent me a lot of stuff from RavenDB. You got a notebook, some
and a T-shirt like this one.
yeah, a T-shirt. Which I'm sorry, not with mine today, but that is very great. So I want to thank you for all your support to our community, and you're welcome to be back here and we discuss with more advanced topics that we saw we said before, behavior driven.
If people are interested, we can expand this example with maybe with some TDD or behavior driven development. I can show how you can do integration tests with the in-memory version of RavenDB and similar things.
Right, great. So your final words here to people.
Happy coding and keep learning new things. NoSQL may sound strange, but if you give it a chance, you will see it's a nice solution for some problems. Not all, for example.
Yeah, that's a great advice. All right. So, thank you, Dan. E obrigado a todo mundo por que participou da live até agora aqui. É meio difícil ficar trocando português e inglês. It's a little bit difficult to switch back to Portuguese from English and vice versa. It's a little tricky. So thank you very much. And thank you for everybody that is with us here. And see you next Thursday at 1 p.m., right? Brazilian time. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.